Malaika, it's so lovely to have you here today. I'm Ursula, I'm the kind of Director of Content at Bupa. So one thing that kind of really interests me, and I'd love to get your opinion on as a kind of wildlife documentary filmmaker, is can you tell us a little bit about the role that storytelling can play about sort of educating people about the impact of the climate crisis, but also inspiring them to act?
I think, I've always been fascinated with the world of storytelling. I grew up watching documentaries by David Attenborough and some of the most incredible storytellers out there. But I think one thing that I realized was that we were often talking about beautiful, pristine places and about incredible wildlife, but not so much about the climate crisis and the way that our environment was changing in rapid ways. So I got into filmmaking at the age of 18, and I think what really drove me to choose this medium of art and storytelling is the fact that with filmmaking, you can really, really connect with audiences on a personal level. When you show them a picture of a tiger or an elephant or a whale that they've never seen before, or might not even see in their lifetimes, they can connect in a way that actually makes them change their behavior. And I think that behavioral change that storytelling can influence is what excites me on an everyday basis.
So, you've talked a little bit about what inspired you personally to get involved in this, but why are you so passionate about sort of raising awareness of this link between the health of our planet and the health of people?
Well, I think honestly, if you think about it, and I was saying this earlier, climate change is this incredibly destructive force that has the capacity to actually take away entire ecosystems that have taken millions and millions of years to develop. So when it comes to our economy and our health, those things are way more fragile than, historic mountains and rainforests and oceans. And climate change is impacting everything around us, everything that we can see. So I think storytelling is this really powerful tool that allows us to not just change people's opinion, but also change policy, influence businesses to take, bold moves and actually change the way that they think about conservation. And I think that, where we are at right now with the planetary crisis, it's really important to make documentaries that address not just climate change, but also biodiversity loss and also the public health crisis, because we are nature. What happens to our planet is directly connected to what happens to us. And honestly, I think that protecting the planet is the most selfish, self-interested thing humanity can do. We often talk about it like it's this massive sacrifice that people across the world should do because, our planet is pretty. But honestly, we've got our survival in the hands of our planet. So when we protect our planet, when we look after communities who are on the front lines, when we look after nature, that's when we can actually look after ourselves. And I think that's one of the things that drives me on an everyday basis. I love wildlife, but more than anything, I love people. And we've got to protect nature if we want to protect people's health.
So to kind of go a bit off piste with questioning, you travel a lot, you see a lot of incredible environments. Are there any things that you've seen that have really kind of made you think, yeah, we need to take this seriously, this is really having a big impact on our environment in all the places you've been and seen?
So I was in Colombia recently, and, with the energy crisis that Europe is facing right now after the Ukrainian war and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, you have oil being pulled out of different countries across the world and energy being pulled out of different countries. And one of those was Colombia. So my team and I went and spent time at a coal mine, and we were able to see firsthand the destructive impact that this massive extractive industry was having on indigenous community members. But more than anything, I feel like as a storyteller, my team and I communicated the difficult challenges that community faces, but we also communicated the resilience that this community has and the hope and this just boundless passion for protecting our planet that they have. And for me, with the work I do, I get to go to all of these beautiful places and see these challenges that our planet faces. But I also get to meet these incredibly inspiring land rights defenders and local scientists and community leaders. And it's these people who give me the inspiration to continue doing what I do every single day of the year. It's these amazing local community leaders that actually I think need to be given more of a leadership role. We often relegate them to the sidelines and give them an award once in a year, but they have to be given the rights and the leadership capacity and responsibilities really to actually take charge and tell us what we need to do with protecting our planet. I feel like that bottom-up approach from communities to the world is so important. And that's one of the things that I'm most passionate about, telling the story of how communities can protect our planet better than anyone else, and in partnership with corporations as well.
That's amazing, and it does sort of give us a bit of hope, and that kind of segues neatly into my next question, which is just kind of, it can feel really overwhelming and actually quite terrifying when you think about the climate crisis. What gives you hope for the future? What makes you feel, you know, like there is sort of light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully?
You're right. I mean, there is a lot of inertia when it comes to actually having climate action that is tangible and measurable. What I think often happens is that we have governments and communities that want to do so much, but often are tied up in all kinds of, constraints. But what gives me hope is that corporations, with their agility, with their disruptive ability to scale, and with their access to funding and access to buyers and consumers across the world, I think corporations are the solution. I truly, truly believe in business-led approaches to tackling the climate crisis and protecting nature all across the world, which is why it's been such a pleasure to work with Bupa over the last year and tell the story of how not just big corporations, but also smaller startups are truly pioneering this exciting wave of protecting our planet and making it, sustainable, but also economic to do so.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see your next documentary.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and talking to us. We really appreciate it.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.